Okay, I think I got it to stay still. I think I got it to work. Yeah, somebody's in here already. Lit. Okay, I think I got it to work. Obviously, this isn't ideal. It should be like straight up, but it's close enough. I wish you guys could see how stupid this setup looks. I have this on top of my markers, and then I have this on top of a speaker. I have the thing that holds the phone on top of the speaker, and then I have a marker that's holding it steady. So hopefully this is gonna work. I don't know if you guys are watching the game. I have the game on. I'm probably not going to be looking at it too much until like the fourth quarter. But in the meantime, as I was saying before, um, Wowco, I don't play Fortnite, I play PUBG. So I know it's going to turn off a lot of you guys. I just have no interest in playing Fortnite. I've seen videos of it. Um, I just like PUBG better. Bankroll, can you teach me how to draw? I'll do my best. Can't promise anything. Real quick, does anybody have Illustrator? Or does anybody have any one of the Adobe products? Let me know. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go through this. As you've been seeing with my last videos, the kind of style that I approach, I'm gonna be doing that to recreate LeBron James, the King, and it's actually pretty easy. I wouldn't say easy. It takes time, and sometimes with things that takes time, it's like the illusion of difficulty, even though it's not. By the way, if you guys are commenting, it's gonna take forever if I look at the comments and I try to do this at the same time. But I'll do the best that I can. Hopefully, you guys can hear me fine. I'm using my Xbox 360 or Xbox One headphones. But if you guys are curious, Cavs getting the dub tonight. I hope so. Okay, here's the thing though, and I said this in my last video. If they end up winning the series, that means they will have won 4 games besides the first game that they could have won. So that means they would have almost won 5 games out of the 7 game series. I don't think that's gonna happen. I just don't. But real quick, let me kind of explain to you guys what I'm gonna do so that way you guys aren't too lost. The way I do it, I approach this by sections. So, do you see this big arm right here? To me, that's one layer. And I'm going to start with that one first because it's in front of everything else. See his hands in front of his jersey? And then, the legs are kind of their own thing and stuff. But the main thing is the arm should be one of the front layers. So I'll go ahead and I'll start by taking that one on first. And I look at it not as like super high detailed picture, but I look at it as colors. So this is a color right here towards the armpit. You see how that gets a lot darker? That's a color in and of itself. Up here, the highlights are definitely a color, and that's already 3 colors. Now, it's not as detailed as like all the different shades and gradients, and obviously we have the tattoos, but if we just look at those 3 colors, the highlights on the arm, the regular skin tone, and the shading where the crevices are and where the armpit is, that's a lot of detail. Emily, shout outs to you. I was a Warriors fan, but I'm not. It's all good, man. No, I like the Warriors, but I'm rooting for the underdog. And this man right here is absolutely the underdog. So it'd be interesting to see what he can do. So we're going to start with this arm. And again, I'm going to try to keep an eye on the game too because, obviously I want to see what's going on. But it's a lot faster if I just kind of work on this. And with the style that I approach, you can get as detailed as you want. Because here, look, to start, and it's really easy when you're working with an image. Oh, let's do that. When you're working with the image that has a lot of contrast, or if there's clear distinction between colors. So what I mean by that, if we're looking at a building, right, it's very structural, very concrete. You can clearly see how the building is shaped versus skins, where it's a little bit more difficult because, especially with skin tones, especially with people who don't have bulging muscles like LeBron James, it might be more difficult to do this style only because you're not going to be able to see the different separations in color as easy. Whereas with LeBron, and especially a high quality image, it's a lot easier. So let's go around over here. And if you're doing this too, I'm watching you in the game, but I missed all the good plays because I watch you. That's what's up. No, watch the game and listen to me at the same time. It's okay. Definitely watch the game. That's more important. I'm gonna kind of go around over here. And then ideally, if the Adobe gods are with me, I can have this rendered, uploaded tonight with my thoughts on what happened with the game, because that should be happening sometime soon. Yo, everybody who's tuning in right now, you guys are the real MVPs. Like, it's not me, it's you guys. I'm telling you. In the future, I would definitely like to see myself do more live streams of whatever it is I'm doing. Okay, so here, real quick. We know that the number 23, it has the blue and the yellow around it. We know that's behind his hand for sure. And we know the 3 kind of goes like this. And there's this little space of something going on over here. I'm assuming that's like the web in between his fingers. So because I don't know, I'm just going to go ahead and fill that part anyway. Not really too concerned with what's going on right now. Again, it doesn't have to be super perfect. It's not about getting everything to be 100%. It's about consistency. So now we're at a part where obviously I can't really see what else I'm doing. I'm just going to go ahead and swap it so that way I have the fill empty, but then I have the stroke colored in. And let's make that a little bit smoother. Again, if I don't see your comments, I apologize. And hopefully you guys can see everything that's going on. It's not too weird. The setup is definitely weird though. That's how we do it. Okay, so now we have this whole piece, this whole arm outlined. And this is going to be a layer. It's always good to name your layers. I usually don't, but I mean, it's always good to do that just so that way it builds good practice. So we have this arm. It's definitely an arm. We have this band. So there's 2 ways of cutting out this piece from the rest of this big piece. We can use the pencil or we can use this knife. Pencil, you just get a much cleaner selection. So let's kind of zoom in. We're going to go out of the bounds of the original piece that we made, and I'll show you why. So there's one end of it. Back. Let's do that. And that's not loading. Okay, there it is. Take it easy, Emily. And then we're going to go over here. See how these pieces extend past the original shape that I made? We're going to select all 3 of these pieces. We're going to go to Pathfinder, divide. And now you see how it took care of those ends. How long do you think this is going to take, Benjamin? This shouldn't take longer than the game itself. So if you'd rather watch the game, I don't blame you. I'd rather watch the game too. But I want to get this done for you guys. So figure I might as well live stream while I do it. So now we have this piece. I'm going to go use the eyedropper. Just pick a color. That yellow looks pretty good. If I don't like it, I can knock it out. Try it one more time. Maybe get like a better yellow. That works. I'm not really too worried about it. So now let's do some of the hard part. Quote unquote hard part. Start with the hand. Because why not? Let's see. Again with the pencil. Maybe do that. Maybe do that. And then I can go over here as well. Again, what I'm trying to do is just look at this as colors. We can do that. Ungroup that. Whenever you use Pathfinder, you have to ungroup the pieces that you selected because it's going to group them together. So now we have this piece. And again, I don't want to get too detailed with it. So we're just going to make that the darker color. Obviously, we have the fingernails. So why don't we just go ahead and bust those out real quick. Again, it doesn't have to be super perfect. Give it a nice nail color. And we can actually rinse and repeat. And we can do that for these sections too. I will say this should definitely be more entertaining than the commercials. That's one thing I wish too. I wish they had really good commercials for finals games. Obviously, it's not the same as a Super Bowl, because Super Bowl you only have the one game. Finals game you can have a 7 game series, but I always like the commercials for the Super Bowl, and I just kind of wish that the finals for NBA had good commercials too. It is what it is though. Kind of do this. Fingernails, good. Again, so we're gonna kind of rinse and repeat. Take care of these 2 sections. Also, I wonder, after I'm done with this live stream, does it automatically get uploaded to YouTube? I don't know. Guess we're gonna figure that out. Unless somebody else knows, and you can let me know. Let's go here. Gonna make that an outline. Do some of that. Ungroup some of that. Might as well make that the same color. Then do that one more time. Just kind of go over here. Kind of go over here. My gram yelled at me for printing 17. Use a public library. Use your school library. Use their printer ink. Don't use your grandmother's ink. Unless it's not your grandmother's ink, in which case I don't know why she yelled at you. And we can do that. And then we can just pick a skin tone color. Maybe something a little bit darker. A little bit darker, sure. Now, obviously we did the fingernails, but because this is the last thing we kind of worked on, it's gonna make it go in front. We're gonna make this go behind. Fingernails kind of pop up, and they're there. So I don't like how sharp that is, and also we need to add some separation there. So let's see how that's gonna work. So we're gonna do, add this separation, bring it out over here. Select that and group that. I don't want that. There we go. Okay. So that we definitely needed. So now if we do this, now how does that look? Still looks a little weird, but that's okay. Now let's take these 3 pieces. Let's see what we can do here. So let's try this knife tool real quick. We want to cut it up in a way where it kind of makes sense. So maybe like that. And then what we can do, that can stay that darker color. And then this one we can actually lighten up to something kind of like that. And granted, like this is a very small part that we're looking at, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But you can get as detailed as you want, and this is an example of one of the more difficult things to do. So we're going to kind of do the same thing over here. I'm just going to cut up this part, except we can probably just kind of cut straight through over there. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Might as well just keep that the way this is. We can make this that same color though. I'm still kind of sick, by the way. So if I cough like that, I'll try to move the mic out the way, but sorry, can't control that. And then this one, yeah, we can just kind of cut it right there. Gosh, I hate being sick. Although I don't think anybody likes being sick, so. All right. Boom, and we got a hand. And okay, I get it. It's a weird looking hand, and that's okay. If we want to, and actually we will, because see how when we get lighter up here, it still kind of matches that lightness of the shine from the light source, right? So we can add another layer depth. So why don't we kind of cut this all up. Kind of make this we'll do that. We'll do this. So if I manually pick a lighter color, it's not going to pick a color that's going to make any sense. So I got to manually pick one, which is fine. That will probably work. And we'll test it out real quick. Yeah, that'll probably work. And then we just go ahead and we make the rest of the highlights that we need for this piece. And that should kind of take care of itself. So need highlights over here on the topper part where the light comes, because light's coming from the top, right? So this top part needs light, this top part needs light. Most of this actually does need light. So what we can do is we can take the knife tool, kind of cut it up here. Let's make this easier. Kind of cut it up there. Cut it up there. Do I have this piece isolated? Here, let's do this. So now we can make that. That's all one piece. We can flip that. That kind of works. Let's go ahead, let's cut this up real quick. Kind of like that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just trying to generally match what's going on. And something like that. So now when we flip this, we get that, alright? Flip this. We flip this. This should all be one piece. We flip that. And this should be that color. Kind of looking better, but I think, yeah, that needs to be cut up. So let's go ahead and let's cut this straight through. Let's make that like that. And for now that'll work, except I just want to go one level deeper and make this a slightly darker color. And I'm pretty cool with that. We could spend another hour just on that hand, but trust me, it's not even going to be noticeable at the very end. So we're going to move on to the rest of the bicep. So just looking at this, definitely got a lot of highlights up there, and it gets complicated, so let's just think about it. Let's simplify it. We know this is the forearm, so let's just kind of go ahead and right off the bat separate it. All right. Pathfinder, cut it up, ungroup it. I'm not going to add any of the tattoos because that would definitely take too long, but we can kind of do something like that, but let's kind of give it a little more sauce. So maybe something like that, and then we can kind of have that continue too. Let's just see how that looks. Let's give that this, because why not? We're going to give that the lighter color. And then this one over here. This is Illustrator, Mace Illustrator. Alright. So you see how the shading is pretty close to what the original image was? But we just kind of stylized it, and we just made it easier for us to work. So again, we could spend more time on that, but that's pretty good for what we're trying to do now. We can add more detail to it later. Probably won't, but we could. So now let's go ahead and let's kind of do this part. Looking at the game, 7-point game, going 2 minutes left until the half, so that's pretty good. Again, I'm rooting for the Cavs in case you didn't already know. Only because they're the underdog. That and I like LeBron James, so. I think my last video, there was a gentleman asking me what my top 5 was. There's no way I could really give a genuine top 5 because my basketball viewing experience only started back in 2009. So I would definitely do a lot of dirty disrespect to a lot of like the older heads who have been watching basketball since like the 80s. And even then, like, I saw the end of Kobe Bryant's career, but not like the start of it. So I wouldn't even be able to go far back as far as legends go. But LeBron would definitely be up there. One thing too. So that's probably one of the darker colors that we have. Let's kind of stay with that. But let's just make that darker. So that way there's continuity between all of it, right? Alright, we have that, we have that. So let's kind of look at this. And you know what? We can even cut this up, give it more highlights. Because this is a pretty highlighted part. Chase art, yeah, I could see myself doing a tutorial. The only problem is I would have to do 2 tutorials. Ooh, definitely don't want to do that. Let's make this lighter. There would need to be a tutorial on Illustrator in general, which I don't mind doing, and then there would have to be a tutorial on how I do this, because obviously there's like hotkeys and stuff that I use, and that's always very important. Let's make this maybe like that. Let's see how that's looking. Obviously I'm not going to do the tattoos, but you can see how that looks like an arm. And if we wanted to, we could even make this not as sharp. What's the hardest shoe you had to draw? Hardest shoe I had to draw. Probably way back when before I was doing YouTube videos. Somebody asked me to do Galaxy foams, and I was doing that with colored pencils, and I wasn't even good at drawing back then. I don't think I'm good at drawing now, but I definitely wasn't good back then. And those came out pretty bad, but I still have them on the Instagram. If you kind of go deep into my Instagram, you can find them. So real quick, we did the arm. I'm gonna lock that up. Next step, we can go ahead and take care of the torso. Torso is actually pretty easy, and I say torso because we're gonna end it off right where the torso is, just so that way it's not an extremely big long piece, and that way we can take care of the lower half in a different layer. Kind of make it easy. Can you draw curry fives? Of course I can. Hopefully I can have that video uploaded soon. Again, problem is my computer is being a butthead, and trying to export anything that I film it just doesn't happen. Like, it exports at a certain point, then it stops. I've tried reinstalling the software. I've tried a lot of other stuff. I think it's just my laptop. My laptop's kind of getting at the end of its rope. Sorry, I'm still sick. But yeah, there's a lot of shoes I need to get to. Oh, this is a 13-point game. It's not looking good. Poor LeBron. His job's so hard right now. He's got to carry his team. He's playing against 4 all-time great players. And then on top of that, he has to deal with the nonsense on his team, like J.R. Smith dribbling it out even though that it was a tie game. I don't know what he was thinking. Like, you gotta know the score of the game. It's not asking a lot to know the score of the game in a finals game. You know, at the end of the game, not like the first quarter. Nobody cares about the score in the first quarter, but you gotta know the last 10, I would say the last 10 minutes, you should probably know the score of the game. What do I know? And then same thing with this. I'm just outlining the torso, the section that I want to tackle. Just kind of going through it. Actually, I'm going to continue this line. Can you also do more Adobe Illustrator? Yeah, of course. That's what I'm doing right now. I hope to do a lot more of this in the future, as well as like the regular drawings and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I want to do more of that. It'd especially be cool if I can incorporate some of the live streams into the regular drawings as well. But that, well, no, I guess I could do that without having to worry about rendering a video. Okay, so right here. So we're at the part where we meet the original part that we just did. And I could just be really meticulous and follow that line. But if this is already going to be behind the layer of the arm, I can just kind of go over it. It's not going to be shown. And that's the benefit of layers. So we can stay relatively close to it. Well, let's kind of zoom out so I can see what's going on. And then we can pick up right down over here. it's behind the arm layer, so it's not going to be shown. So we can kind of quote unquote cheat. What up, Fair Spider? Maybe do one where you draw these, show them by hand, then Adobe. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. Good idea. I agree with that idea. Energetic. What up? What up? What up? So now I have this whole section made up. Now I'm going to start tackling this one by one. And it'd be easier. Come on. Be easier to start with the spots that are easiest. So like this blue spot right here, we can just cut that up. I'm going to do that with the pencil and Pathfinder. If you know how to use the Pathfinder and the pen tool, that's like 80% of Photoshop. Obviously it's not, but like you can do a lot with just those two elements right there. Obviously you have your type tool, and you should probably know that as well. Because we have a blue that's pretty consistent, I want to go ahead and pick a better selection of the blue. So maybe something like over here. No, it needs to be a little bit deeper, richer color. No, that's fine. We'll go with that. We had the yellow part over here, right by the neck. I didn't outline that, and the reason is I'm just going to kind of go behind it because we're still on the same layer. And again, like here, let's do this. Let's say I made this piece really dark blue. The shape of it is obviously weird, so we're going to knock it out. We're going to select a yellow. I had a yellow back here, actually, I think. I don't know where it went. We'll just pick this one. It don't matter. And we're going to send it to the back. You could right-click. I used my hotkeys. Same thing. And it does exactly what we want. And even though the piece isn't perfect, like lined up with the blue, it doesn't need to be because it's not being shown. So it still works. And as you can see, we have something going on right now. It's not a lot, but it's something. And it's definitely going to look good in a few minutes. Actually, let's go ahead. No, I'm not going to do that. I was going to make a copy of it, but that sounds like work. Let's just stick with this. Go ahead and make the swoosh. Good old Nike swoosh. From this angle, it's going to look very unflattering when I recreate it, but that's okay. For the purposes of making sure this looks like what it's supposed to, we'll make it happen. Make that reversed. Kind of bring that thing around over here. Yeet. Will you do any more NBA players in digital art? Yeah, for sure. Although, I really do want this channel to be kicks art, so sneaker art. I think for continuity's sake, it's better. And okay, real quick, obviously this logo has a lot of detail. We're not trying to worry about all that, so we're just going to outline the general shape of it. Of course, whenever you do this, you can add as much detail as you'd like. If you really wanted to get detailed, you would recreate this logo, have this flat, and then warp it. So that way it's super perfect. But I don't want to do that. And we don't need to. Because the attention is not on the logo. Attention is on LeBron James. And again, if you're tuning in and if I don't comment to whatever it is you're asking, it's because I'm trying to look at the screen. And to look at the screen and my phone at the same time is a little tricky. So forgive me if I don't get to your questions. So right now, okay, we got some stuff. We got some stuff working. Let's work on the 23. Now, we have the blue, and then we have the yellow around it. So here's what we're going to do. Because when you think about it, you have the number, and there's a stroke around it, right? And whenever we're working with shapes, we have a fill and we have a stroke, so we'll just keep it that way. Can I get a shout out to Richard Burton? Richard Burton, shout outs. Shout outs to you, Richard Burton. Coughin coming. Man, I hate being sick. And I had a I had a sore throat too, And it's one of those sore throats because I was at church today, and it's like it's not terrible, but it's enough where like it causes your throat to itch, and if you're trying to be quiet, it's unbearably terrible. Because like pastors over there trying to preach, I'm over here trying to be a good Christian. I cough in the middle of congregation. What do? I cough a lot, and it's loud. It's embarrassing, but it's all right. God understands, right? We'll go over here. So now we have this piece outlined, and so like this, we know it's a 3. If we wanted to, we could get the same font and then we could warp it. But again, we only have to worry about what we can see. So for the 3, I'll just do that section. I'll make it look like a C. It doesn't have to be a 3 because the 3 is not visible. Okay, you start doing sketch drawing. I want to, but whenever I try to transfer over those files and try to export them, those video files are just not cooperating with my computer whatsoever. And it's really not the video file, it's really just my computer. Because my computer kind of sucks. But it's okay. So, let me just grab this color code. Because I'm going to need it in just a second. We're going to select the shape. It's got that yellow stroke. We're going to select the stroke. Fill it. Talk louder. Is this better? Let me know. I don't want it to be too close to my mouth, but if you guys can't hear me, then obviously I should talk louder. We're going to make this a little bit bigger, but we want this going on the outside. And it doesn't help that it's yellow on yellow, but yeah, that works. What up, what up, what up? I'm watching the game in this video, and it's a little too loud. I mean, I could have, because right now I'm using a headset. He can hear you closer to my... Okay. I like Matt, so I'm going to listen to Matt. See how I did that? Just added a stroke to it, because I already had the piece. And like I said, we know this number is clearly a 3. However, if I try to recreate like the middle part, it just takes more time. The middle part's not even showing, so what up, Rice Man? I'm not even going to worry about the middle part. Right, the digital drawings. I'm glad you like it. Again, we know there's like a middle section there, but it's not even showing, so I'm just going to do this. What's up, KTB143? What up? Do some of that, do some of that, do some of that. Maybe bring it around over here. Again, it doesn't really matter what's going on because the hand is covering it anyway. Not just in what we're doing, but in the actual image itself. So, we want this stroke going on the outside. There it is. When did you start YouTube? I think it was about 4 years ago. 4 years and some change. Alright, and there it is. And you see it works. Now that only gets complicated if I want to like cut this piece up and get like a lighter blue and a darker blue. But I'm not too worried about that. I do want to get a slightly darker blue though. Get like a deeper blue so that way the color's better. Ooh, too deep. That'll work. Sweet. Alright, so that's good. So, we kind of recap where we're at right now. We got that. All the magic starts to happen when I get that shirt going, but for now, let's keep it going. Let's just do the Cleveland real quick. It's not going to be too bad. Let's see. Pretty cool font, too. I don't want to see what's going on in the middle, though. Something like that, something like that. And then we're going to make that go on the inside. And I do need that blue, so I'm going to go ahead, grab that blue, put that as the stroke color. Do I think Curry's the best shooter of all time? Yeah, I mean, of course I'm biased, though. It's not like I've seen a lot of the great shooters from the 90s and the early 2000s kind of do their work. But I don't think it's a hot take either to say that he's the greatest shooter when you look at how he's kind of changed the game for the better, I would say. Overall, too, if you look at the league has gotten a lot better at shooting threes. I remember I had a project a few months ago where I had to do like an infographic, and I decided to do one on how the three-point shot has changed basketball. Can you do the Jordan Leverage Jeter? People are always asking me to do shoes, and trust me, guys, I want to do a lot of shoes. And well, first of all, I have to not be lazy, so that's definitely on me. But second of all, there's just so many shoes out there. Ideally, I want to get to a point where I've had such a huge catalog of work done, where if there's a shoe that you like, there's a good chance I've probably done it. Devontae, yeah, what's up? Who's gonna win again? Warriors, Cavs? Probably Cavs. Oh no, not probably Cavs. Probably Warriors. But I'm rooting for the Cavs. Again, I think if the Cavs had a chance to win one game between these first two home games, it was the first game, game one. And then J.R. Smith decided to be J.R. Smith, and then we all know what happened there. It's a team game. He's not the only reason why they lost, but man, that was dumb. I don't know what he was thinking. And then real quick, so we have this shape that's within the shape. It's the letter A, nothing too crazy, but I want there to be the background when we actually fill this background in. So there should be red in there. And the way to do that is you're going to do minus front. So what that does is it makes this all one shape. So if I were to have a shape behind it, and we'll make this red, and then this needs to be like that. You can see how that works. Cool. Now we got some of this. And again, whenever we're doing this, it doesn't have to be super perfect because keep in mind, like right now, I'm zoomed in all the way. And even if this was going to be a poster where like this is like life size, like if I was looking at a poster that was whatever, 10 feet by whatever, I'm actually do this. Just bring it over here. Um, Nobody would be like, oh my gosh, those letters are slightly off. They're not congruent at all. And nobody's ever going to say that. And if they do, tell that person to lighten up. Celebrate more. If you listen to rap, who's my favorite rapper? Okay, so in high school. Well, actually, let's start with middle school because that's when I really started to listen to rap music. Um, Before then, I just kind of listened to whatever's on the radio. But before middle school, I didn't even like know a lot of the singers by their style, by their voice. I remember sixth grade. I just felt like so out of place with like the music scene. I didn't know who anybody was, and I spent a good like few hours just going on all the major radio stations, looking at the songs, looking at who's singing in them, kind of getting used to their voice, and that's where I really started to kind of pick up on okay, this person sounds like this, this person sounds like this, and that's where I really started getting into music. But before that, naturally, my favorite rapper was Eminem. I don't know how, but I had one of his CDs. And the reason why I say I don't know how is because I didn't buy it. Nobody in my family bought it. So I just so happened to have one. But yeah, it was Eminem. And over the years, um, well, at least for high school, it was pretty much Eminem all the way through. And I would say recently now, I'm kind of liking like a lot of J. Cole. Kanye stuff is really good. He's a weird person. I haven't heard his new album yet, so don't like spoil anything for me. Um, I love Kanye's work. Travis Scott's really fun to listen to. Um, J. Cole is a good artist. Obviously, Kendrick and stuff. One thing I like though is I listen to a lot of instrumentals. Love, love, love instrumentals. So a lot of my favorite producers. So Metro, he's probably my favorite. I can listen to a lot of his tracks just on repeat alone. Appreciate it, Tyler. Appreciate it. I'm glad I'm back too. And if you think I'm back, this isn't even my final form. Wait till I get a computer that cooperates with me. Let's see. We're in the third quarter, and they're only down by 11. So that's good. Again, I'm rooting for the Cavs. Want the Cavs to do good. Don't want them to get blown out in 5 games or 4 games. Gentleman's sweep. Go around over here. Bring that thing around over here. And then these 3 pieces need to look like that piece. And again, not perfect, but pretty damn good. So now we got all the boring part done of the shirt. Now we can do the highlights. So, or not the highlights, but like the ripples of the shirt. So let's take this one piece at a time. We have this dark ripple. What happened to my TV? Hate how the box will turn off after an hour. We have this ripple that kind of cuts things up pretty good. So why don't we go ahead and start with that. That'll work. So we'll cut that up. And then we can just kind of work on this bottom piece. We can get super detailed with this, or we can just kind of keep it simple. I'm going to kind of keep it simple. I'll show you guys how effective it still works. So we can kind of do some of this, some of this. That's fine. So that looks good. Cut that up. Group that. I like that. We're going to pick that. Okay. So we still have some of this. We can make dark. Let's probably bring this here. We can bring this out here because why not? Kevin Love made a 3-pointer. Kevin Love is going to be super important for this game, for this series. If he doesn't play well, then I'm sorry, but that dude's pretty much been a waste. Because they traded Andrew Wiggins for him, basically, in a way. So I'm rooting for you, Kevin Love. Do good, for LeBron's sake. Yeah, so then we can go ahead with that. Now, we have all the darks done for that bottom part. So let's just see how that looks. So you see we kind of have the ripples going. Again, we don't want to have too much detail, so let's kind of figure out what parts that we need left. So we're going to use this tool. We can kind of cut it up right there. Let's take that piece, shift. We're going to make this a darker red. Perfect. And then we can kind of rinse and repeat that. And that should do something. See, we can kind of do that over here. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. Again, doesn't gotta be super perfect, so we can like cut that, and we can kind of do that. So now that's a piece. And then if we want, we can get a little saucy, kind of do that. And now those 2 pieces are flush. See that? So let's select, we don't need that. Let's select that. Let's see what we got going on. So let's maybe make this go over here, whip that back, and then when we select this, we'll select both of this, take this one off. We can make that one the same color as that. Again, right now you guys are probably thinking, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. And I low-key agree with you, except I've seen this work. It's gonna look awesome. What's the longest took you to do drawing? I did it like a hand drawing 2 hours. And it was painful in the sense that it took forever. I don't want to do that. But it was satisfying to see it come together at the end. When you see it come together, that's where all this really starts to pay off. So, I guess I'll do this one last piece. Alright, so we have those 3 colors. And then you see how that kind of makes that? And again, nothing too crazy there. But when we continue that all the way through with the torso, it looks consistent and it works. So let's go ahead and let's do that real quick. And we're going to start by looking at the darker colors. So we can just kind of, we need the pencil first. So we'll do that, ungroup that, make that one, that, I'm good. Rinse and repeat. So you see how like these darker colors are separated? So we'll just make it its own piece. Use the pencil. Ooh, it's an 8-point game. LeBron James. I wonder what he's going to do next year. This offseason is going to be crazy. The draft is going to be good. There's a lot of good draft prospects. Probably going to be a lot of moves being made in the NBA, so that's always fun. I have no idea what LeBron's going to do, but he's probably going to make a drastic change in where he's going to be playing at. It's always going to be fun. Be cool if he played for my Orlando Magic. That's probably not going to happen, but that's okay. Actually, no, LeBron, don't come to Orlando. Don't ruin your career. You don't want to deal with these problems. I don't even know what we're doing in Orlando. We just hired somebody new. I don't feel too good about it. It's a mess. We are a mess. Let's make that like that. Cut that one up. Ungroup that. Delete that, I guess. Yeah, I can make it like that. Alright. Got some of the darker shadows here. Got some shadows back there. And then we got some medium tones, and then the torso is done. So real quick, let's just go ahead and do that. Real quick, am I recording this? No, I'm not. That's okay. But it's recording though, right? Yeah, it is. Good. Yeah, we probably want that. I think LeBron should go to the Rockets, make one of the best. Oh, I would be so happy if he did that. But here's the thing. I don't want him to go to the Rockets and lose. That's the Warriors. I don't want him to lose to anybody. Because if, he goes to the Rockets and they beat the Warriors. Okay? Or if he goes to the Rockets and then lose to somebody else other than the Warriors, that wouldn't be a good story either. So I think he should go to the Rockets, but I also think he shouldn't lose wherever he goes. Because now this is, this is prime LeBron James. And this dude's got to make all the right decisions to make sure he don't lose anymore because he's tired of losing. I know he's always talking about how his legacy is more than his finals record. But, bro, part of your legacy is your finals record. I know it sucks. I know you hate it. I know you're tired of everybody picking on you. But, shoot, man. Rings count. Don't even start. What if he went to Boston? That'd be crazy. I don't think he could though. Has the Lakers PG-13? Okay, the Lakers, man. I don't know, man. The Lakers situation's rough because if they don't get, you know, a high draft pick or not high draft pick, if they don't get a good free agent this year and next year, all what they were trying to do is kind of for nothing. So they need to get good quality talent. All right, let's not do all that. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's cut this up. Um, we have an artist in middle school. So I've always had the ability to draw. And let's actually do this. There we go. I've always been good at drawing. I used to do a lot of graffiti back in the day. I'm watching the game. Well, I'm watching the game. I'm doing this. I don't know. I don't think the Rocket. The problem is, so he was saying he doesn't want the Rockets to be another case of like the league being ruined. At this point, the league is already mutilated, right? Uh, and there's really no going back unless we're gonna get to a point where like they do some crazy rule changes to outright ban super teams in some way. And even then, that's really tricky too because every GM, if they're a smart GM, is trying to set up a super team, and this is not anything new. When you look at the great Celtics, the great Lakers, these dynasties, hell, the Bulls, right, with Michael Jordan. It just looks unfair from the outside, but if you're in, then it feels great. If you're a fan base of that city, you don't care. You want your team to stay the same. Hell, if you're the Warriors, you're hoping you can get LeBron. Have that elite starting five and that bench that just is gonna be brand people off the street that they can get. Here's the thing: I don't see how the Celtics can get LeBron, because let's look at the storylines between that, you know, and this is all depending on how the relationship between him and Kyrie are. And I'm assuming it's not that good because even if they're low key cool, publicly there was like some shade thrown when Kyrie kind of put LeBron in a tricky spot where he didn't want to be there, And part of your legacy is based on the decisions you make. Too many forwards on the Celtics if it goes. Well, but LeBron is an exception. You always go if you can get LeBron, you always go for LeBron, right? That's like the golden rule. If and when you can, you should. Now, for the Celtics, would be interesting. Everything that's gonna happen is interesting. You live in Georgia, be a Trailblazer fan. Here's the thing, and this is just the truth. First of all, if you're a fan of the NBA, I don't care. I'm happy that you're a fan of the NBA. Basketball is such an entertaining sport. There's so much swag that comes with basketball, right? Like, it's not just a sport. There's like finesse, there's style, there's charisma, there's all these other adjectives that I can't think of right now. And that in and of itself, if you're a fan of the NBA, it's fine. However, there is some truth to it where if you're not a fan of the team that you weren't born in, or if you don't have like a reasonable reason, I guess, for being a fan of that squad, you could be viewed as a bandwagon fan. However, if you're a fan of the Trailblazers, I don't think anybody's gonna be mad at you. If anything, I think you might be like a little disappointed how the season went for them because Dame got shut down, and now they're in a tricky spot because like, what are they gonna do? They had a great season. What's going on, Manu? They had a good regular season. Dame played exceptional, and they got swept in the playoffs. So it's a tricky thing because you're a franchise. You want your team to be good for decades. You don't want to just be good for a little bit. You're not here for a good time. You're here for a long time, right? So you want your team to be successful. And even though you do have, I'm a Celtics fan, South Carolina. And ultimately, if you don't care if people call you a bandwagon fan, then that's fine. Um, it bandwagon only really applies to like whoever the current champion is. So that was like a big term that was thrown around whenever LeBron originally went to the Heat. Like everybody was just using that term left and right. And you know, granted, it might have been fair, but that's a term that gets tossed around loosely. But ooh, it's still a 7 point game. Oh, LeBron with the pass. Good job, Tristan Thompson. Also, real quick, I know I'm getting sidetracked. Tristan Thompson, how dare you do anything to make LeBron's job more difficult? If you were gonna be unfaithful to your wife, you do that after the regular season, bro, or after the playoffs. You don't do anything to kind of mess with LeBron's success because this man needs to concentrate. This man needs everybody else to concentrate. And if you're over here causing drama that's unnecessary, that's not a good look, bro. Also, Chloe's fine as hell. I don't know why you would want to cheat on her. Do I think Boogie will stay in New Orleans? I hope so. They were good, man. Sucks that he got injured. Anthony Davis is still gonna be a beast. Like that's not gonna change, right? And in case you guys wonder what I'm doing, I'm looking at all this color over here, and I'm just kind of separating it. So I have the lighter colors over here, I have the darker colors over here. I'm just kind of creating a divide, and all that's gonna make sense afterward. So let's just kind of do some of this. Actually, we can even just bring it up here. We'll bring it over here. Why not wrap it over here? And we'll call it a day. Not a day, but you know what I mean. So bam. And then we're gonna ungroup this. Now all of this should send that back. There we go. All right, and then that all should be the rest. Yes, very good. Okay, cool. So that's gonna be that darker red, not like the black, but the darker red. So from here, I can go like this, and maybe something like this. I know I'm getting sidetracked a lot. Steph Curry miss. Of course he's gonna make a free throw. Of course he's gonna make a freaking free throw. Cavs in 5. That tell me how badass that would be though. That would, I mean, obviously I can't say this for sure because I didn't watch Michael Jordan growing up, but I don't know, man. If the Cavs won in 5, that conversation's sounding pretty interesting, at least to me. Alright, so, oop, nope. Let's do this. Let's do that. We're gonna ungroup that because we don't want that grouped. I don't see LeBron staying in Cleveland unless somebody comes to him, like a Chris Paul, or if they work something out. Real quick, you see how this is kind of taking shape? Look at this. When we just had this piece, it didn't really look too impressive, but as the whole thing kind of comes together, and I've been doing this kind of loosely, you know, like we should probably send both of these pieces back. Yeah, that makes me feel better. But it's all starting to come together. Speaking come together, they're only down by 7. So Kevin Love, 4 for 4 this quarter. Sheesh. Good job, Kevin Love. The beauty in this, and I think the beauty in a lot of art, especially art that just takes time to do, like it's one thing to draw a circle, which even sometimes that can be difficult, right? But it's another thing like when you're doing a thing like this or anything that takes time and you can start to see it really come together and all this work pays off, where it's like, oh, that thing actually looks like a thing and it came out better than I thought. That's where the magic sauce is with art. When like you were kind of doubting yourself in the beginning and then you kind of prove yourself wrong, or the process, I guess, proves you wrong. That's what I like. And then we can just kind of, you know, something like that. Heck, not even. Let's keep it simple. All right. And because there is some highlights there, let's take the lightest red. Just go a little bit lighter. But we gotta send that back. Just send that back. Send it back. Send it back like it was cooked wrong. Send it back. There it is. And that's torso. And okay, I'm not Picasso. That's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Now let's go on to the next part. Got some legs. I might hold off on the legs. I really should do the shoes because this is Kickstart channel. But for the sake of this not being forever, we're just going to do the arm and the head. Let's do the basketball real quick. Basketball is actually going to be pretty interesting because there's a few levels to this. Let me show you what I mean. Also, should name it. Let's lock it because I don't want to mess with it. Let's name this one ball. Probably should get on the ball there. Is this going to be uploaded to the channel? I don't know if the live stream will. Not that I don't want it to. I literally don't know how that works. But I am in the process of recording this with OBS, the software I use to capture the screen, and that should record what I'm doing, and then I'm going to edit that, assuming my computer cooperates with me. And then I'll upload a video hopefully later on today. That's the plan. I'm sticking to it. Alright, Jay, take it easy. The final process of this will be uploaded later for show. Make it 1.5. That works. Can you do another player? Yeah, for sure. I would like to do a lot of the big players. I could definitely see myself doing this live more often. Again, the hardest part is to get a decent setup for the camera. Cause like right now, I don't even know what the heck I'm doing with this camera. It's just kind of there. But why is that? Okay, so we're gonna outline those, right? We're gonna outline those. We can combine those, and then let's go ahead and we're gonna just kind of cut this up. I'm not gonna do the Spalding text. I'm just gonna kind of cut this up, right? And then we can just do some of this, right? Do some of that. Do some of that. A little bit of that. And why not? That color down there is a little too dark, I think. So we can kind of lighten it up manually, probably, but if it works, it works. If he dies, he dies. Well, ideally, I want to have just a lot of videos where I kind of do this vectorized style. These need to be black. And then what we can do just to kind of cut these off. There's a better way to do this, but I'm also not trying to take forever. Let's turn this off so I can see what I'm doing. All right, and that's a basketball. It's missing a line though. Definitely missing a line. Is it missing a line? Uh, no, it's not. All right, cool. That's fine. So now I want to do the hand, and the hand's actually going to be above the ball layer. In the top of the ball is too light? Maybe. We can always adjust that layer though. We can always adjust everything later. So this is going to be a hand. And the reason why the hand is going to be on top of the ball is because you see how the fingers literally go over the ball in the picture. So we've got to keep that the same when we work with our layers. Let's go ahead and make this hand real quick. Have you guys been keeping up with this Pusha T and Drake beef? I'm still waiting on Drake's response. I do feel like Pusha went a little bit too far in though, like when he made those remarks about 40 and like him being sick. It's all fair though. Like, what is that saying? All fair in love and war. And this is definitely war. I would consider it rap beef. Uh, Overall though, it's good. Like, about time we got like some legitimate rap beef. I don't listen to a lot of like the new rappers, like the mumble rappers and stuff. It's not my style. I don't have anything against it. It's just not for me. It's not what I vibe with. But I love a good old rap beef. Drake has been one of the biggest artists in the game for a while, regardless of all the stuff people say about him, about the ghostwriting and stuff. He still has managed to stay on top. And a big part of that is that female audience that he has. So it was interesting seeing Pusha T kind of go at him from a bunch of different angles that a lot of people haven't. So I have this piece. Let's just do the fingernails real quick. And we already did fingernails over here, so it'd be smart to stay with the same color. And if we have to, we can darken it up. And the reason why I say darken it up is because even though these are, the same fingernails from the same person, um, these fingernails are underneath the basketball, so naturally there's more shadows underneath an object. So if we want to be technical, these can be darker. And again, these don't have to be perfect. Is Aaron Gordon the player for the future for the Magic? Man, at this point, I don't even know if the Magic have a future. I don't know what the Magic is doing, man. We're out here making moves, I guess. We just got a new coach, I guess. I don't know what we're doing. And you know what? I don't think they know what they're doing either. They're just as confused as I am. The people in the front office. They're like, what are we doing? Oh, it's an 11-point game. We can use that as maybe this medium. Yeah. And let's, obviously we got to break up these fingers, so, well, not literally break them up, but you know what I mean. Yo, what up, that guy, That's a great name, by the way. First stream, yes it is. Hopefully I can do more of these. Like a lot more of these. Like a decent amount of these. That'd be cool. So far I'm having fun, so that's the first start. First step, I guess you say. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna do some of this. Maybe? We're gonna make this one like this. And then we're gonna make this like that. I hate how that looks. But that's okay. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. So we're gonna kind of cut it up like that, kind of cut it up like that, kind of cut it up like that, and then kind of cut it up like that. Again, don't gotta be perfect, it just has to work. Send it to the back. Send it to the back. And naturally, it's kind of... And this should be closer to this color. It's the same color. Okay, never mind. This color. Yeah, so now let's go over here. 10-point game. Still a quarter left though, so that's good. And then we can shift these. Hands are always weird. I never like doing hands. But those fingernails definitely can't be that light. Those don't look normal at all. We gotta darken those up. Maybe something like that. Alright, that didn't change anything at all. That works. So, look at that. That's like 1/3 of arguably one of the best basketball players of all time. So, we have the arm left, and obviously his cabeza. So, this has to be behind the ball layer, because the basketball is in front. And then that's automatically behind the hand. So, we're going to do arm 2. I might do the legs. Depending on how quick I can get through this arm and this head. I might just do the legs, just so that way I can talk to you guys for a bit more. There's a few of you here. If there was one of you here, I would still talk. I appreciate everybody who's watching this right now. Again, so because the basketball naturally is covering this section, we don't have to be too specific, but it does have to make sense. So let's just kind of do this. Let's, I guess, zoom in a little bit. So that arm's gonna come in here. Again, because it's gonna be behind, ultimately it'll be behind the torso, so we can go ahead and just do this. And then so we can do something like that. I need to do this. And again, like I was saying too, I would love to just incorporate the stream and have that just be a part of what we do on the channel. Because it's fun just to talk. I like talking. I would argue that I'm a very entertaining person. That's what all my friends say, right? That's what my mom says. She thinks I'm entertaining. Alright, we'll kind of cut this up like this. And we can separate that, ungroup that. And then because we do have that armpit where it gets a lot darker, and I do want to kind of show what's going on with that bicep. So here's what we're going to do. We're definitely going to make... What the heck is that? What the heck is that? Stop. Both of you got to go. What the heck? Alright. Let's solve that. Alright. So... let's just make that armpit real quick. Okay. We have those two. We had that darker color for the other arm. What? No, back. We have this darker color over here that we can use. The reason why this is in front is because right now we have this in front of the torso. When I finish this part, I'll move it behind the torso. And then what is it that we had? What we can do is, because I kind of want to show that separation of the muscle, so I'm just gonna kind of do this. And again, we're not going, what? No, we're not going for perfection. We're just trying to make sense out of stuff that doesn't make sense. Easier said than done, but it ends up working, so. Now we can make this darker color. Okay. And then looking at the bicep, we can separate, not the bicep, the shoulder, that, because that's a thing. And then we can kind of cut up this top part and make that a thing. Right now, I'd have to say probably MJ's the GOAT. LeBron hasn't done enough to take that title. Kind of cut it up that way. See how that looks. Let's go ahead. Let's match this with the highlight over there. Kind of match this with the body tone over there. And then we can also kind of like, because we have that mid-tone. Do we have mid-tone? Oh, we don't. That's okay then. We can just make that. But this has to be the mid-tone then. And then when we move that behind the torso, I do want to make this a little light. Here, let's do this. Let's make this the same color and then we'll just darken it from there. Because I don't need it to be too extra. Because when we take it out, we have that. And that works pretty good so far, I would say. Yeah, his eyes are super red. Or one of his eyes. Because he got poked in the eye. Goodness, down by 13. Poor LeBron James. And then we can go ahead and kind of bring that like that. Alright, we can make that the same thing as that. Ooh, maybe not so sharp. I don't know what's going on with these two, so we're gonna lock these. What is going on? This needs to be locked as well. Thank you, thank you. Whatever, we'll make that the same color. But what is going on with these guys? These guys gotta get locked. What is going on over here? Okay, much better. We're gonna unlock everything. So then when we go out, look at that torso. So now we got left is the head. We can do the legs too. Thank you, James. You're amazing too. We can do the head. The head will be behind the torso, so that'll be the bottom layer. As for how many layers do you need, you can decide that. As many layers as you want. This can all be on one layer. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to do it all on one layer, you can go right ahead. Now for this, there's a lot of ways you can approach this. I'm probably gonna have, let's just do the nostrils first, because why not? When people ask what you did during the commercials, you can say you saw somebody decorate LeBron James' nostrils. Thank you, thank you. Guys, let me know if you want to do the, or if you want me to do the bottom part as well. Cough coming. You ever have like moments like you don't cough, and then you cough a few times and it just takes so much out of you? That was that right now. So we're gonna bring this. He's got such a weird beard. Bring it out like that. It's for real that cough costing me all my chakra. Uh, LeBron James. How can you practice your techniques for drawing? Honestly, draw the same thing over and over and over again. Find out what part of that drawing doesn't look right. Try to figure out how you can make it look better. Like these eyebrows. I'm going to fill it in for you, Bron. Got you, Bron. Brows by Kicksart. You want me to do the bottom part? You got it. When are you going to do more how to draw? So, the situation with my phone, not my phone. I always say it's my phone, it's not my phone. My laptop. Exporting videos, even this one might be a pain in the butt. Especially when I use the footage from my phone. Doesn't work. Just doesn't want to export all the way. It stops. Look at that, man. It just doesn't work. Jesus. You know what we're going to do? We're going to help Brian out real quick. So, whatever, we can connect this. Yeah, I know it sucks. And I got to figure it out. And I think the easy solution is to just get a new laptop. But that's not the cheap solution. So, you got to pick your battles. And this one is going to require me to wait for a bit. Oh, real quick, before I forget, I haven't mentioned this to the rest of the channel yet. I'm actually going on vacation to Colombia in June. Now, will that mean that I won't be able to make videos? Not necessarily. These kind of videos I'll be able to do. Um, but I definitely won't be able to do any like how to draw videos, even though it's not like I can really do them now anyway. But I'll be in Colombia for 2 weeks. Bam, look at that, man. Yeah, I'm a sneakerhead. The only problem with being a sneakerhead and being a college student is you usually can't have both. At least for me, it's got to be one or the other, and it's got to be tuition, so that's just the way it is. All right. I don't know how I feel about the top of his hair, but we're just going to leave it for, like that for now. So we got his mouth. Just go ahead, add the detail for his mouth real quick. This is LeBron's facial expression if they don't win today. They're just going to be very upset. My collection right now isn't really good. The only pairs that I have that are worth even mentioning are I have a pair of Toro 4s, so like the Raging Bull 4s or whatever, as they call it. I have a pair of the Baron 9s, so like black and gray. And I have a pair of LeBron 9 Cannons, so they're like green, they have some orange in there. Pretty cool. But again, that's basically it for my collection. So it's really nothing to brag about. Kind of go over here, kind of go over here, and kind of take it up here. So we can do that. Boom. You see? Now we got an eye. For now, we'll just do a circle. Basically what an eye is, right? Just a circle. Maybe rotate it a little bit. But this is going to be difficult. Let me see how the shine is going. Because eyes naturally have a shine, right? So let's... He's got two shines. Two shines. So... And it shouldn't be white because it's not in the photo. So if I make it white, it's not going to look right. Something like that. We'll try that and we'll see how that works. I don't think that's going to work, but... Is it? Yeah, that kind of works. It looks like a like an anime LeBron. LeBron senpai. It kind of works. We'll leave it like that for now. If I mess with it too much, ooh, we got some comments. What's your dream sneaker? And then thank you so much. I forgot your name. Thank you for the comment. Dream sneaker. My Grail. Space Jam 11s. I know it's not like a really hot sneaker, but it's always been that. That's the sneaker that really got me into sneakers, I guess. Something about the 11s though, like such a clean, simple silhouette, and obviously it is meant to be like a luxurious, you know, like a high fashion sneaker, something that you could wear formal. That was kind of the inspiration behind it. But man, it knocks it out of the park. Such a good shoe, in my opinion. If I had $1 million, what would I spend it on? Probably on tuition, and then with the other $6 I have left over, I would buy a burrito. Mags are fire, though. I agree. I can rock mags, though. I got kind of thick legs, so like mags and jeans on me don't look good. Well, I don't know that they don't look good. I'm just pretty damn sure they don't. If I had like a health bar, every time I cough, the health bar goes lower and lower. LeBron James. I gotta do the right eye. This looks too funny. Let's do that real quick. Also, let me, I guess, do the inner part of this. Oh my God. Kind of cut that up. And then we'll make the under part a little bit lighter. Bam. Something like that. Reason being is because, like, obviously his skin is brown, so I have to have that part as white. Oh my God, they're down by 14. This game isn't looking good, my friends. This game is not looking good. For the Cavs, at least. If you're a Warriors fan, then I'm happy for you, I guess. But for the purposes of this finals, I'm rooting for LeBron, the underdog. And underdog he is. And I don't know if you guys thought about this too. If Curry and the Warriors win, Curry is going to have as many rings as LeBron. How many points? I don't know. I really should know. I'm really not paying attention to the game, though, which isn't a bad thing because they're losing, so it's not like I'm missing out on a lot. Let me bring over one of these. Kind of copy this over. Swap that. Oh, my God. What the heck? Maybe something like this, and I have a Xbox One. Does that even? Oh my God, no, bro. That doesn't look right at all. Again, this part is where it gets really tricky. You just gotta kind of play with it and find whatever looks good. And then the moment you find something that looks good, you just leave it alone. But for starters, we'll just kind of fill in this just so I can kind of get a rough idea what's going on. And keep in mind, so like, yeah, that definitely does look a little bit weird. Let's just cut this up quick. Oh, not like that. Cut this up like this. I don't know what my gamer tag is though. I made it a few days ago because for a while I didn't have an Xbox. My buddy bought me one. So now I have one, but I forgot what my gamer tag is. So, in this case, I might not be able to go with how the photo has it. So I kind of have to make my own. Fudge. You see how this kind of looks weird? Like, obviously the picture has it right, but it has to make some kind of sense when I work on this. So, but that works. So when you zoom out, obviously it's not going to look as crazy as it is when it's zoomed in. So for now, it's perfectly fine, at least for me. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of add this. That's his lip, so go ahead and add that in. His lip kind of ties in to that bottom chin strap thing he's got going on. Make this a darker. My favorite song from M. Ooh, no, that's not the right color. What? Yeah, it kind of works for now. I don't really like how it looks too much, but at the same time, it is what it is. You know what we could do as well? Oh, this isn't looking good. 15-point game. I like My Band. I know that's like a dumb song, but that's a good song. When he did those tracks with D12, he has a lot of good songs on there. But that was when M was like on a lot of drugs and stuff, and he wasn't in the healthiest state of mind. Now he's sobered up, but now I don't think the music is as good. Doesn't have the same flavor, but everybody's got to grow, so I wouldn't expect all his songs to always sound the same. Let's do some of this. Do some of this. And do some of this. Jeez. Alright, now we're going to go around over here. Follow that eyebrow. This is going to be the skin for the head. And obviously that's going to be the neck. Alright. I definitely have another cough coming. 1 second. Tell you, man, every time I cough, it's just hit markers. That's all I feel. Okay. So, we have him. I don't know how I feel about this part. Yeah, whatever, we'll leave it there. So we have him. There's definitely got to be some shading going on in the ear. And again, we don't have to go too crazy on it, but we do have to go crazy enough for it to make sense. So let's start to make sense out of this. Let's go with the darker. But that's got to go behind. whatever like the legal amount of Advils you should take is, I'm gonna like take like right underneath the legal amount because I need it. But after I'm done with this, okay. So, gonna recap kind of where we're at. So there's definitely some highlights. So we can kind of look at it like that. However, we can also kind of cut that up. That might be good. Let's see. I don't know how that's going to look, but we're going to see. Oh my god, it makes him look like he has a disease. There we go. Alright, so that's a little better, right? But we can add a little bit more detail to that. Okay, so. I would wear LeBron's, only because he has a bigger selection. I feel like a lot of his shoes kind of match my style better. So let's go ahead, let's cut. Because the neck has obviously got some shading going to it, so maybe something like that. And then it's kind of like cut it up from there. So this can be the way it is. This can be that. This can be that. And then this can be let's go ahead, let's oh no, something like that. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you. And then we can do some of that, but we want the lighter color. We don't want the darker color. With the ear, don't need that dark of a red. I need like a brown. Let's see what browns I have though, because we've definitely picked some. Oh yeah, that works. We'll just go with that. Hmm. Okay. Let's. Let's kind of go around over here. Do some of this, do some of that. All right. And then there's some shading going on over there, so. Alright, and then we can kind of like cut this because obviously there's going to be some shading over there. Could do more, but that's fine, you know? For the purposes of what we're doing, that's fine. It could obviously get a lot more detailed, but I'm not too worried about it. So we do have some legs to do, but let me see what my phone's battery life is looking like. All right, still got some battery, so we gonna do it. But just to recap, this is where we're at right now. I'm gonna zoom in a little more so you guys can see. So we got the different layers of color. And it took a little bit of time. Obviously, I was talking through most of it, and then I was kind of distracted with the game. Speaking of the game, LeBron's not too happy, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and start filling some of this in. Yeah, so I want this to be behind. Could do the foot. Cavs in 5. If the Cavs lose tonight, just remember Cavs in 5. I wish, bro. I wish. So let's start with the shoe. Why not? Can I bring this around there? Are these Zoom shoulder, right? Zoom shoulders? Soldiers, I think. I don't know. I like this colorway though. It's a good colorway. Okay, can I bring this there? And again, it could get really detailed, but I still gotta make a video, so we're gonna do this quick. We'll just fill the bottom. Ooh. Yeah, that kind of works. Okay, so now we're just gonna do swoosh. Oh, that was my mom. Stopped by and dropped off some meds. Oh my god. Alright. Oh, okay. I guess my phone wasn't on as good as battery as I thought. My phone is about to die, so I probably won't be able to get to this bottom part. I do have the top part done. Let's just get a recap. Probably just stop it right here. Then we'll go ahead and I'll render this out, get some commentary going, try to upload this video tonight, if not tomorrow morning-ish. And then you guys will be able to see it. And then I'll have a little image of this be at the very end. I'll have this on the thumbnail as well. Again, I don't know if this is going to be uploaded. I don't know how that works with the live stream. I'm assuming it's not. But thank you guys so much. Are you going to charge it and finish it? I might finish up the rest. I don't know. It's going to take another hour or two. I still have a lot of stuff to do tonight, so it's probably better if I don't. But also, it's probably better if I like start doing this earlier on in the day, so that way it's not so late. And my phone's about to die, so I have to charge that as well. But yeah, I'll go out and make an Instagram post. Gotta start doing that as well. But thank you guys so much for watching, especially those who watched all the way through. I do see myself doing more of these live streams. I'm gonna try to make it so that way the camera gets better quality of the screen whenever I do it. Because right now, obviously, it's not like super spot on, but I'll figure that part out for next time. But thank you guys. I appreciate you so much for watching. Hopefully, you enjoyed the game. Oh my gosh. later. Peace.